Hey friends, welcome to my marathon reveal thought slideshow. And this is before the alpha. Got a cold beer with me. I'm going to rapid fire this though so you can get through it. This is going to be audio friendly. You don't actually have to look at the visuals. I'll try to describe what's on screen. Starting with a story. So a new restaurant opened up near me. It's the Cluck and Bell from San Andreas. It's owned by the same company as my favorite burger joint though. Unfortunately, the new restaurant serves spicy chicken. Don't they know their loyal fans hate spicy food, though? How could they do this? Think of how much better they could make the burgers if they didn't open this restaurant. This terrible decision leaves me with one and only choice. I'm going to give it negative reviews and spend an absurd amount of time hating on it and arguing with customers who idiotically like spicy chicken. It annoys me so much when other people enjoy something I don't. This is what marathon discourse feels like right now. So, for my Destiny and Halo fans out there, listen, lean in, turn the volume up just a little bit. You don't have to automatically like every product that Bungie creates. It's a waste of time and energy to eat or review spicy food if you already hate spicy food. I love spicy food, by the way. Are we good? Can I give my thoughts on the game now? So let's start with, if you know nothing about Marathon, start with Drewski's hands-on gameplay review. He played with a stacked squad. It's good stuff, and it'll get you up to speed. Now that you're up to speed, let's start with a tweet from community manager DMG. Love feedback, love critical deep dives into positives and negatives of a given game, love concessions between groups or individuals when opinions differ. Cheers to all contributing to conversation and debating alternative takes with respect. Let's build together. With that being said, I hope my thoughts are seen as constructive. So when it comes to Marathon, I have to wear two hats, a content creator hat and an intrinsic player hat. When I think of Marathon as a content creator, the extraction shooter genre automatically provides potential for a unique storyline to unfold each match, kind of like the Battle Royale genre. I'm able to flex my creative muscles to weave an intense story of rags to riches, or a comedy heartbreak of riches to rags. I can make content about build crafting optimization tailored to a specific skill bracket, and the live service model selfishly means I can always return to the game with new items to review, new maps to review, and builds to master. When I think of Marathon as an intrinsic player, though, let's define intrinsic, meaning that I play games for the love of the game, and I want my opponents to want to play me at my best. In Destiny, sometimes I play against opponents who immediately leave the match, and honestly, no sweat, no harm, no foul. If you don't want to play me, I don't want to play you either. So when I look at overarching systems of Marathon's PvP, it's clear to me that there's room for an intrinsic player to hone, that means master, without much interruption from the extraction genre. It seems that there are deterministic ways to quickly round out a build. This allows a player to feel confident approaching asymmetrical engagements since their build has the potential to cover most options. They can rest easy knowing that if they watch a VOD back, it would be very clear what to do next time to skill issue their way around a problem. The asymmetry creates an economic minigame of weighing risk reward versus your current skill level, and it's a really fun problem to attempt to overcome, although I may never succeed, but that's the fun of the genre. All that being said, though, my marathon playtime will vary significantly based on how they answer the following questions. Biggest question is, what is Marathon's gameplay X factor that distinguishes it from other games of the same genre? Distinction between a gameplay feature and a marketing feature. The next question is, how can any extraction shooter simultaneously be both accessible and high stakes? It sounds oxymoronic when you think about it. Finally, shout out to the Destiny players. How long is too long doing a task that I don't want to do in order to gear to properly compete? Marathon's gameplay secret sauce could be any of the following. It's going to be optimized for console controller, it'll be more accessible than other extraction shooters, it'll have build crafting elements and character classes, and it'll have puzzles and raid-like PvE mechanics and maps. I'm sorry, but all these qualities don't even slightly incentivize me as a player. I will humor them though, and I'll reach. Console controller. Lately, I'd argued that PC is more affordable than console, but some players might only have a console for other reasons. It's a slice of the extraction shooter market that only Bungie's game will have access to, and more players is more players, better connection, better matches, better ingredients. I play either input device, so that doesn't really matter, but controller optimized play is very important to controller only players, which also increase the population. Bungie shooters are also the pinnacle of great gun feel, so it has that going for it. Finally, I hate that I have to even say this, but console has better security than PC. Cheaters have the potential to ruin this game and any game like it in the genre before it even gets a chance to succeed otherwise. Console could be the only safe haven, but it also could fail if they're not strict on Zim punishment from the get-go. I'm not going to elaborate. Accessibility / forgiveness. If Bungie pulls off the right ratio of intensity and accessibility, Marathon has the potential to be the gateway game for extraction shooters, the trade-off being a better player population for less intense max gear, max rank competitive experience. And I won't know how to feel about this until I both experience Marathon and then compare it to other more intense extraction shooters. Build crafting elements / character classes. It's fun to tune a build over time to fit your current skill level and playstyle. I imagine this will drive many players to invest many hours experimenting. Since this game is built for squads of 3, the character classes create an opportunity to specialize and build a well-rounded team. Puzzles and raid-like PvE mechanics and maps. This is a tweet from Jamie's Act. According to Scaro9, Marathon isn't just extraction PvP, it also features dungeon-like or even raid-like PvE encounters that can be unlocked by discovering secrets or obtaining items that grant access to special areas. I've always been the kind of PvE player that enjoys action, complex strategy, and high dexterity execution. While there are some puzzle games I enjoy, the last place I want to see them is interrupting what could be good action. This is not a selling point or an X factor to me personally. I imagine hardcore PvP players will just go where the good PvP is, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a marathon. It's not guaranteed. Regardless, the addition of advanced PvE could be a tactical move from the developers to bolster the player population. Before I elaborate, this is your chance to skip ahead by 1 minute before I ruin the illusion by telling you how the magician does his trick, or at least how I think he does, or why he does. Are they gone? Sip a beer. The PvE illusion. PvE isn't there for the PvE player, it's there for the PvP player. Disclaimer, you can be both a PvE and PvP player, and be great at both, or identify with both. Bungie is figuratively stocking the pond full of whales that will get the action started on a map. If on average a PvE main is lower skill than a PvP main, it makes sense that they can close a skill gap with significantly more valuable gear so they can successfully do the PvE challenges more safely. And also, obviously, there's likely to be more PvE players than PvP players if we had to learn anything from Destiny, which means that it's going to be an even bigger population for Marathon. So that was me reaching for what could be an X factor in Marathon. And even with that amount of reaching, I still don't feel like I've even got a slight answer to that question of what is Marathon's gameplay X factor that distinguishes it from other games of the same genre. Well, it is a live service game, but that's a double-edged sword that can easily create reasons to engage with the game, but when executed poorly, can have the opposite effect. Luckily, going into Marathon, Bungie's had 10 years of live service experience with Destiny. There are end-of-season loot wipes that make sense for this genre of game, and I would even argue that Destiny players that might be watching a video on a game that they supposedly don't like, gonna pause for effect and drink beer. Those Destiny players are going through loot wipes right now in Destiny, and they don't even realize it. Let's get this quote from SkillUp, his recent review on Marathon. You should watch that, by the way. It's a good one. You can't get these people to give up loot they acquired 6 years ago that they've never even bothered to equip. Referring to Destiny players, of course, and this is a picture of my own vault. You can see many duplicate weapons, and that is because if I delete that weapon and it is useful in a future patch, I have wasted potentially hundreds of hours, because if I need to refarm that weapon, I might never see it again. So it's not that I don't want to use it, it's that I need to future-proof and I want to respect my own time investment. And there's a limited amount of vault spaces. So this is like an economy game. It's not even a first-person shooter. It's a spreadsheet game now. So I'm going to make the argument that loot wipes shouldn't be a deal breaker to a Destiny player. Destiny effectively has already had seasonal loot wipes in the form of balancing patches, brutal RNG, and new additions that change the value of items around them. It's the exact same problem, but in different proportions that change based on the sandbox tuning and available alternatives. Obviously, the difference is that once you finish a Destiny build, you have it forever. But is that really true? Look at how armor is about to be irrelevant when the 3.0 system comes out. You're not going to use your old armor. You're going to get new armor. There is a possibility that Marathon requires less chores and time investment to minimally optimize for competitive play than Destiny does. Marathon might very well be a 30-minute rebuild to play a single life of comp, whereas in Destiny, I can do the same boring activity for 1,000 hours and still not see the weapon roll that tangibly makes a difference in my build and allows it to function. So, just a thank you to the Destiny gambling community for making that possible. I don't know what else I'd do with my spare time. In the long run, Marathon might be more respectful to your time than Destiny is, and I really won't know that for sure until we have the final product in our hands. I'm still a Destiny PvP fan though. It's been a decade and no other game has slightly attempted to make a loadout-based space magic slow TTK arena first-person shooter. Wait, that's not entirely true. So we got a disclaimer here. Tweet from Gigs. New rule. You're only allowed to use Concord as a comparison if you played Concord. All 700 people. About to mute this fucking word. It's just the dumbest motherfucker behind the tweet. For those who don't know, I am literally a top 100 Concord player. And you likely did not even attempt to play Concord. So let's talk about Concord 2.0. And do not quote me out of context here. Concord had many obvious glaring flaws that led to its death, and if I had to speculate, I'd guess it was from toxic positivity during the entire development cycle. And despite that, I enjoyed the gameplay and was excited to see the game evolve. I put on my intrinsic player hat and enjoyed the hell out of Concord. I never put on my content creator hat because I didn't expect the game to die in, I don't know how long, was that a week? Sir Demetrius, on the other hand, made the video that I would have loved to make. And it's an awesome video. You should definitely check it out if you're curious how Concord plays. Obviously, art style, whatever, not great, but... Let's talk about arena shooters. Arena shooters are a dinosaur genre that's had nearly all the innovation squeezed out of it. And despite liking them myself, the genre creates too many growing pains for the modern gamer. Concord was a hero shooter, though. And hero shooters feel like they're getting there too. But then again, Marvel Rivals decided to be a massive hit, so I don't really know about that. Maybe the game genre matters less than overall presentation and aesthetic choices. So just like how I enjoy arena shooters, but the general gaming audience does not, I imagine that's how they feel about presentation and aesthetics, because to me, they're not a deal breaker. They're a bonus. For example, I don't really like the theme of The Binding of Isaac. I like the gameplay. And if Concord just had basic polygon characters in a pencil-drawn setting, I guarantee there'd be even more Destiny players that would have jumped ship with me right then and there. Let's talk Marathon aesthetics. Got 2 screenshots on the screen. I just like Google imaged. I like the art. I'm not going to go through videos on videos to show you. If I had to describe it to someone who's in the car driving to work or doing the dishes, it's Mirror's Edge with a little bit of Cyberpunk and Destiny mixed in there. So let's a shout out to Bungie's art and sound team, which has consistently exceeded my already high expectations. I know I joke in a Destiny map that a pebble forces my character to get stuck on it, or it flings me in the air or something, forcing me to miss my shot, but that's not really on the art team. They don't decide to put an artificial ceiling barrier in a Destiny map. That's map design and PvP balancing team and whatnot. Just let me jump in the game. Let me peek a corner without getting caught up on the floor. Alright, moving on. I don't have a segue for this. Should solo play matter? On one hand, having a robust solo system makes for the largest player population possible, since there's usually friction in finding and vibing with a team. On the other hand, when a game is balanced around team play, the level of competition can have so much more depth and fun potential. My opinion on this doesn't really matter though, since I don't even like the concept of an extraction shooter to begin with, but when I wear my content creator hat, I'm extremely motivated to optimize effective solo playstyles and builds. Dare I say that I will likely never team in this game. That was a mistake I made in Destiny 2. I focused way too much on team play since Destiny 2 originally launched as a more competitive game, and that was where the fun was. Whereas I had a lot of viewers that were solo play, just not enjoying the game. And I feel like if we had a content creator to help like articulate what the mindset is for a solo player to find success, they might have latched onto the game and enjoyed it more. So I'm going to try to dabble with that when it comes to Marathon. Proximity chat. Once again, I ain't the target audience. If this is something an extraction shooter enjoyer wants though, they should get it. I'm not likely to use it though, since I don't like feeling slimy for deceiving players or colluding to achieve my goals instead of just skill diffing them outright. That's just what I enjoy, but I totally understand the entertainment potential and the reason that you play that genre. It's not for me. Putting it all together, what is the expected gameplay loop of Marathon? And if I had to describe it really quickly, it is upgrade, acquire, expand, bank, optimize, and farm. You upgrade passives and faction bounties to upgrade the black market. Use the starter gear, the rag gear as I call it, the cheapest gear possible. Then you acquire currency and you stockpile that currency so that you can start buying starter packs from the black market, just better gear where you can get more done. Use that better gear to complete more bounties and passives to expand your vault space. Then you bank valuable gear so that you can use it when you're in the future more skilled or knowledgeable. You know the map better. You have good teammates. Then, assuming that there's a playable test environment, a training ground, something like... I'm going to pause here for effect, and I'm going to repeat myself. Because there's one piece of feedback that the devs need for me to enjoy the game as both a content creator and a player. Sip some beer. There needs to be a training ground or a testing mode or something like that so you can... even a bot battleground or something like that. That definitely helps players onboard to the game and feel more comfortable. So when you're more skilled and knowledgeable at the game, you bank your valuable gear to use then. Then you optimize your final build. Then you use that final build to farm whales to then use additional currency or banked gear or whatever to buy expensive cosmetics. Or you take the best gear in the game and you go and compete in the ranked playlist. Progression will look like you start on rags, then you pick a min-max for your skill level, then you're the most skilled in the game, and you go for the max set of gear. Or you could just be wanting to have some asymmetrical gameplay, and that's on you for your skill to time ratio on what you want to farm, if that risk reward's worth it. And it's unknown whether I'll find it faster to max out my build with either a speedrunner approach or a more tactical approach. But regardless, it'll make for a good video if I document my skill growth with both approaches. Like, I'm seriously going to be spreadsheeting in this game. It's going to be really good YouTube content. I'm looking forward to it. At the end of the day, here we have our spicy chicken restaurant. I'm not a fan of extraction shooters. Not going to pretend like I am. I like arena shooters, MMOs, action RPGs, rhythm games, fighting games. I like spectating tac shooters, watching speedruns, watching fighting games. I hope that Marathon sees major success because I know they have some developer goats in the squad. I have no problem buying the game just to support devs who help make some of my favorite gaming memories with Destiny 2. I don't mind stopping by Marathon every other seasonal reset with an open mind to see if the gameplay loop clicks for me as a player the second, third, or fourth time. But what I'm not going to do is force Marathon on myself, or just complain into the void and attempt to ruin other players' enjoyment. I ain't even going to ask for an alternative game mode since I don't want to risk resource splitting from an extraction shooter enjoyer's potentially new favorite game. I got other games to look forward to. I got Battlefield 6, Borderlands 4, Grand Theft Auto 6, which is in Florida, by the way. Perfect Dark, RuneScape Dragon Wilds, which is in Florida, but no, it's not. And even if all those games end up not being my new favorites, I still might stumble on an old hidden gem game. Overall, gamers are eating good right now. And I might even play Destiny more than I already do if they tackle these demons that ruin my PvP experience. The RNG slot machine of having to do PvE chore slop simulator. The special ammo 1KD jousting garbage gameplay. And then the radar that tells people where to look so that they don't have to use their brain in combat. You might not agree with me, but like these three really hurt my enjoyment of the game. And I'm not saying they should change the entire game around that, but like not even one game mode. Then also Phantasy Star, I gotta mention that. With the new Genesis version of the game, they changed the combat a little bit that sort of went away from its peak. And if they go back to peak, I would definitely play it more. And even if those games stay the exact same, I still have Osu. And just pat myself on the back here, I recently broke into the top 500. 1,000. Okay, that's the end of the slideshow. I'm allowed to stream now. I've expressed my opinions on Marathon, so you don't get to hit me with, hey Cam, what's your thoughts on Marathon? Because I'm just going to point to the title and say type exclamation Marathon in chat. It'll refer you to my video slideshow presentation on my opinions. Now we can talk about the real issues, like what is the real KFC? The Colonel got them herbs and spices, but that Yang Yang wing go crazy. I didn't pronounce that correctly.